The new Broadway musical Buena Vista Social Club is nominated for 10 Tony Awards this year, tied for the most nods with Death Becomes Her and Maybe Happy Ending. Each is nominated for the coveted Best Musical Award. Other contenders include Dead Outlaw, a show based on the fate of a criminal's corpse, and Operation Mincemeat, a new musical based on a British intelligence operation during World War II. Vocal powerhouse Audra McDonald earned a whopping 11 nominations for her starring role in Gypsy and the Gypsy Revival. She is now the most nominated performer in Tony's history, breaking the previous record of 10 nominations that she shared with the late Cheetah Rivera and Julie Harris. Gordon Cox joins us now to break it all down. He is a contributing theater editor for Variety. Gordon, thanks for being here. What do you make of the nominations for Best Musical? Who do you think could take it all?
Oh, well, I think it's a good crop. I think there are a couple of really strong contenders. I think the two clearest frontrunners in the category are Maybe Happy Ending, which is a sort of sentimental romance about two robots in the near future who have an adventure and fall in love. It's very sweet and very sentimental. And I think the other clear favorite, particularly among critics, was the musical Dead Outlaw, which is this sort of spiky anarchic comedy about a corpse. It's a little darker, and that's a lot of fun too. So I think those are the two that seem likely to have the highest chance of taking home the big award, at least right now.
Audra McDonald may have already broken records this season, but she does face a strong pool of contenders in Best Leading Actress in a Musical. Who are the biggest contenders there?
I think her biggest competition is Nicole Scherzinger, who is giving a kind of career-making performance or career-boosting performance in Sunset Boulevard. I think those are the two performances of the season that people have been talking about all season and will continue to talk about possibly for many years after. They're two very strong performances. So I think those are the two top contenders, but the two women at the head of Death Becomes Her, that's Jennifer Simard and Megan Hilty. They are Broadway favorites. They're both doing great work. And then there's this newcomer, Jasmine Amy Rogers, who's giving a spectacular performance as the main character in Boop. And sometimes the Tony voters like to reward a young up-and-comer. They did it last year with Malia Joy Moon from Hell's Kitchen, so you never know.
What about plays? I mean, John Proctor is the villain, and The Hills of California lead nominations with 7 apiece. What do you make of that?
Well, I think John Proctor as the villain has a lot of energy behind it. It's got a really young cast. It's a really youthful, lively show. It's got a lot of pop music in it. It is a show that is drawing in younger crowds to the theater, and that gets people excited. I think the play Oh Mary, which has been one of the biggest hits of the season all season. It is this big, absurdist, just completely ridiculous comedy that is such a crowd pleaser, and it's written by and starring Cola Scola, and it is not often the kind of show that wins a Tony Award because it is so sort of blatantly silly and proudly unserious, but you never know. It could sneak in as well. And then there is a really smart family drama called Purpose that is really insightful and really thoughtful and has a really strong cast. There were a surprising number of actors from that cast who were nominated this season. That also really has will have a strong pull for a lot of voters, I think.
I got to be quick with you on the last one. What about snubs?
I mean, I think the biggest snubs are all those shows you've been reading about for all season. The high-priced Othello and the Glengarry Glen Ross all have very big stars. Some of those shows weren't even nominated. Othello didn't get a nomination. Denzel Washington didn't get a nomination. Jake Gyllenhaal didn't get a nomination. Kieran Culkin, who just won an Oscar, didn't get a nomination for Glengarry Glen Ross. So there were some really high-profile missing names from the list this morning.
Any other surprises or underdogs you want to talk about in your last 30 seconds?
I will be interested to see how Operation Mincemeat does. It has a sort of cult fan base. It was very popular in the UK. It won an Olivier there, and it will be interesting to see if that can be replicated in the same way in the Tony Awards this year.
Gordon Cox, thank you so much. You can watch the 78th Annual Tony Awards hosted by Cynthia Erivo right here on CBS and Paramount Plus June 8th. Curtain call for that. It's 8 p.m. Eastern.